Hello, students. Good morning. Today I am going to teach you Class 8th Biology. I suppose you are enjoying your holidays. Okay, so let's start the topic. The second lesson, that is reproduction in plants. Actually, what is reproduction? It is a very important characteristics in living beings, or you can say that reproduction, respiration, these are main characteristics in living beings. Okay, it is one of the most important characteristics of all living beings. It is multiplies the number of individuals of a population and ensure the continuity of life. This is reproduction. That means any living organism, they wants to increase their population, and for that they will have to do reproductions in their own just correct communities. Okay, so normally modes of reproduction is to be considered. There are so many modes of reproduction in plants also. First of all is asexual reproduction. Second is vegetative reproduction, is also known as a asexual type of reproduction. Okay, and the third is sexual reproductions. Okay, let us take one by one in asexual reproduction. Asexual reproductions, it includes the modes of reproduction in which only a single organism is involved, or you can say that there is no need to double gametes to produce new organism. Okay, there is neither formation of nor unite of gametes, that is, you can say that in the other ways no fertilization is there. And the importance is that the offspring by which the asexual reproduction is formed, that is clone of their parents, or you can say that totally identical to the parents. Okay, just in the binary in a asexual reproduction, the main things is that whatever I have told you is the binary fission, budding, fragmentation, and spore formation. These four processes are there in asexual reproduction by which the organisms can breed their young ones. In the lower organism, that is, I want to show you a figure. You will have to just guess which process is this figure is concerned. Yes, guess which process concerned this figure. Yes, very good. That is binary fission. Okay. Binary, that means two. Binary, that means two. And fission, that means to separate. And individuals divide into two identical daughter cells in this process. First, what happens in this? First, the nucleus divides, or it just start growing in their nucleoplasm, followed by the division of the cell, and ultimately the constriction start beginning between the two nucleus, and in this way from the one parent cell two daughter cells are formed. This is called the binary fission. And in the same way, buddings are there, okay, and there is a important processes that is known as spore formation. Okay, you can see here the processes that is included in the spore formation. What is actually spore formation? You have seen in the braid there are powdery substances are look in the braid. That is nothing but spores are there, and spores are nothing but they are fungi. Actually, the powdery substances are looks like what are you looking in this slide in the rounded structure. First of all, what happens? They just stuck to the braid and start the nutrition from the braid. Clear? And after that, they start growing hyphae, and ultimately the hyphae just elongates at the tip of that hyphae. There is a sporangium is formed, and the hyphae which is contains the sporangium, that is known as the sporangiophore. Okay, and when they just mature, they burst, and the spore sacs comes out from that sporangium, and they move freely in the environment, and they stuck, they get the favorable condition, they stuck to their places and start their life cycle to growing the hyphae, and again their hyphae just become a sporangium, and it matures and the spore sac comes out. In this way their life cycle is going on. Okay, second, the next slide is vegetative reproduction. What did I told you? It is also a process included in the asexual type of reproduction. That is, in this also no gametes are required to reproduce the young one plant. Then how can it reproduce? That means this vegetative propagation is happened only in the plants, not in the animals. You will have to remember this thing. Where? In plants only. Okay? Vegetative reproduction, that means it occurs mainly in this method. New plants produce from the vegetative parts of the plant, that is roots, shoot, stems, leaves, or it may be buds. Okay, and in this way the plants are also identical to their parent plant. That means if it and the parent has red color flower, it may be a red color flower. There will be no change at all, I means to say. It is also have the two types. First is natural methods of vegetative propagation, and the second is artificial. So let us take first natural methods of vegetative propagation. It is done by with the help of very common methods. We can see anywhere, by modified roots and by modified stems. That means some plants are just modified in the way of new plants. In the case of sweet potato or dahlia, it can be seen the vegetative propagations by roots. What happened actually in the asparagus becomes swollen tube stored food material and just remain underground, and the new plants from these roots in the next season. Clear? Now the second is the modified stem. That means the tuberous roots of anyway the subaerial stems are modified especially for vegetative propagations. It may be tuber, it may be rhizome or corm. Tuber, that means we know, we can take example in the modified stem potatoes are there. In the rhizome, in the case of rhizome, turmerics are there, okay, gingers are there, and in the comb gladiolus are there. That means in this way we can just grow a new plant from their tubers. That means we eat potato, that potato which have a eyes are there, or the potato tubers which have eyes or buds growing aerial shoots are there, which is looks like a yellowish color. They are also able to reproduce a new plants, and it is happened through the modified stem, because we know that the plant parts of a potato we eat, that is stem. Okay, now the artificial vegetative propagation. Artificial vegetative propagation is that in that artificial vegetative propagation, it is carried out by the stems cutting, layering, grafting, and tissue culture. First of all, just we take the stem cutting. Stem cutting, we know that in the case of bougainvillea or rose, we just cut it the plant of a stem angrily, or just we sow into the soil and it get a new plant. In the same case, in the case of sugarcane also, okay, chameli or jasmine, we can say that it is also happened in the case of stem cutting. We just cut the stem angular and just sow into the soil, and after start watering after some times or after some weeks, you will see there is a birds arises from the stem. Okay, now the second is layering. In layering, what happens? A young branch is bent to touch the ground, and it is just covered with the moist soil, forming a layer. When the roots develop, start into a covered part of the branch, and it cut from that part and it grows into a new plant. And the best example is that jasmine or mint or wine, maybe. What happens actually in the layering, I am telling you in a common language. Suppose a plant is growing, okay, and their branches are touching the ground. What you will have to do, when its branch is touch the ground, you will have to cover that part of the branch from the soil and start watering the covered part. Okay, and you will see after some weeks there is a rhizoids are there. And what is rhizoids? Actually it is not a true roots, but the roots like a structure are developing from their parts. And then what you will have to do, the cut the stem from ahead of the part which has been covered with the soil, and just take it and show whether you want to just rope it. Okay, and after some weeks, you will come to see the next and new plant which have a new leaves will be there, and the same fruits and flowers will be there what you have seen in the parent plant. This is layering. Okay, yes, I hope you are enjoying this video. If you enjoying this video, please subscribe the SJCE channel, and we will talk later on about the tissue culture and sexual reproduction in the next video. Thank you and have a nice day.